I took the time to make myself room between some bushes on the other side of a near house, settling in for longer than I would have liked as I watched over my targets. Although watching and waiting isn't a skill of mine in which I have much faith, it does give me time to cool off, offering much needed shade and breathing room. I should use this time to calm down, gather my thoughts, and... The moment I tried to recall myself, I once again felt that same sickening feeling in my chest. What on earth was I thinking? How could I possibly calm down, knowing what those two are doing? How can I just sit and wait while those two go about their lives, preparing to grab another victim? How can I let people like that roam the streets, preying on innocent young girls? Scum like that don't deserve to live, much less breathe the same air as my sister. They could both die tomorrow, and the world would be a better place. Better, yet, they could die today. "10 minutes of agony later, another train comes along, carrying with it several unsuspecting targets. Even from my post shrouded in foliage, I could easily make out every movement of my targets, and more importantly, their next victim. A slender, timid-looking girl, probably a year younger than Sarah and I. She was wearing the same uniform and had a similar build to Sarah, but her demeanor and attitude seemed more naive and carefree. A pretty young girl who'd make too perfect a victim. No sooner had I made my guess than the duo began stalking their prey. Their target was in too much of a rush for the same level of caution to be necessary, unaware that she was even being followed. They tailed the girl closely, roughly matching her pace, until the three passed an empty, dead-end street. Now! Hey, hold her legs properly! Shut up and gag her! One teen covered the girl's mouth with the cloth that he'd been concealing in his pocket, while the other grabbed her legs. Taking advantage of her shock, the duo immediately carried her towards the empty street, picking a house on the corner they presumably knew to be empty ahead of time. The girl was scared stiff, but once the initial shock wore off, she began flailing wildly. Hey, you picked a feisty one today! Of course, energetic girls are the best, don't you think? No argument there. I followed the three as inconspicuously as I could, utilizing the neighbor's yard instead of risking being seen on the side of the road. Climbing up the fence of the house in question, I leaned across and grabbed onto the railing of the house's back veranda, pulling myself to the dilapidated building and quietly entering from the back. I slowly walked from room to room, watching my back every step of the way. Tiptoeing, I remained vigilant not to make a sound, proceeding with caution until I found my own targets. Geez, quit struggling, would ya? You know, it wouldn't do any good. You tell her, bud. Pity women never listen. By the time I found the duo, one was already holding the girl down, sitting on her stomach, and pinning both of her arms down with his own. His weight appeared to be more than enough to restrain the girl, making the job easier than he dared hope. In her mouth was the same cloth they had used to gag her during the initial grab, now kept in place by the use of duct tape. All right, almost done. About time. Let's get this show on the road already. While the first team prevented the prey from escaping, the other emerged from the next room, bringing with him a video camera and a stack of condoms. By now, the frightened girl knew exactly what they were planning, sobbing silently as she continued to flail and attempt to regain her freedom. Come on, hurry it up already. Take too long and I'll start without you, you know. Calm down, we have all the time in the world. Let's just enjoy ourselves, yeah? While the dominant member of the duo set up the tripod and camcorder, I slowly edged my way to the next room, removing from my pocket the knife I had intended on using as a last resort. Biding my time and slowing my breathing, I tried to gain hold of my nerves, clutching my blade tightly as I neared the dominant young man.